And joining us now is Elad Strohmeyer, the spokesperson for the Israeli embassy here in the U.S. Elad, thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Andrea.
And you've been here for a number of years, and you're a veteran Foreign Service official. We have not seen anything like this in decades, not since the Second Intifada, nearly 2 decades ago. I know that Israel says that they found a lot of weapons, that this has been a terrorist cell. But when the Prime Minister says that this is not a one-time event, are we going to see more Israeli incursions into the occupied Palestinian areas of this scale?
I think we need to understand the situation that happened in Jenin, not just in the recent days, but in the recent year at least. And I'll start actually going back to April 7, just this year, a terrorist attack in the center of Tel Aviv, killing 3 Israelis just going to restaurants and nightclubs in Dizengoff Street in center Tel Aviv. And the terrorist conducting this attack came out of Jenin. This is one example of 50 terrorist attacks in the past year that came out of Jenin. And Jenin has become, in the past year, in recent times, a terrorist stronghold funded by Iran. And we see an inadequate governance by the Palestinian Authority that is doing nothing to stop the terrorists. And this is why we had to launch this counter-terrorist activity in order to protect Israeli civilians.
Now, the UN and others have talked of this and the Palestinians as being, quote, war crimes. And we see an escalation already. There was a terror attack just the other day in Tel Aviv. A suspect drove into a sidewalk cafe.
Drove over several Israelis, yes.
And so that was a reaction. Responsibility was claimed, at least by Hamas, Iran-backed, of course. So there's an escalation here. And what do you see coming out of this? And there are no negotiations at all going on.
I think that,
and the Palestinians have also said that they're suspending any security agreements.
And I think this is where the problem lies. Israel doesn't want to go and enter Jenin in order to do this counterterrorism activity. We want the Palestinians to take the responsibility that they need to take in order to prevent that. But because they're not doing so, we don't have a choice and we have to take that. And you saw in the report, we found explosive, we found weapons. We know that in the buildings that we entered into in this activity, this counterterrorist activity, there was centers of commands, safe haven for terrorists, and all these things happen and originate in Jenin, and we don't have a choice. So I think the best way to prevent that is to have pressure from the international community, from the United States, on the Palestinian leadership to do what they need to do and fight terrorism in Jenin, in the West Bank, in Nablus. This is the problem. Now, you mentioned war crimes. I think the real war crimes here are conducted by the terrorists, by the Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad and all the other terrorist cells, because when we were operating right now in Jenin, we saw that they operate from underneath a mosque, from next to an UNRWA school, from next to medical centers. So they operate from within civilian populations. They jeopardize the lives of innocent civilians, Palestinian civilians. This is the definition of a war crime, and we need to put pressure on the Palestinian Authority to stop with the incitement and operate against these terrorists.
Well, we know that there's a weakness on the Palestinian Authority and that this has been going on for decades. But there is also, shall we say, a very, very tough posture by this government. I know you can't talk about Israeli politics, but this government is more right-wing than in any of our memory. And they have put enormous pressure on the Prime Minister, who has his own pressures. Disagreed. There were disagreements even with the President Herzog, whom you know very well. So there's a lot going on in Israeli politics, and I'm not going to get into that. But at this stage, isn't there something that should be done? If you want international support, don't you need to be more careful about not having drone attacks on civilian areas? So your intelligence is supposed to be superb, the best in the world, arguably.
So what we saw in this operation right now, in this activity right now, is actually a very precise, accurate activity. This is why you were mentioning the numbers of fatalities on the Palestinian side. Most of them, to our knowledge, were militants. Very few civilian casualties. We saw the dimension of the destruction. It's because that the terrorists have put an IDE, improvised devices, underneath the roads in order to jeopardize Israeli and kill Israeli soldiers. So we bombed those roads in order to save Israeli lives. But if you look at the outcome, eventually it was a very, very accurate with intelligence. There was an example that we targeted militants when we saw them coming out for an attack. And I will add one more thing about politics. I know I'm a career diplomat. I'm not going to talk about politics. But here, actually, what we see in Israel is an agreement on the approach to Jenin, and we saw a statement of support from the head of opposition and from former defense minister. Both of them are on the opposition right now to the current government. Everybody is in agreement that we have a situation over there that cannot continue, and the best way forward is to work. It's our interest, by the way, to have a strong Palestinian Authority. It's our interest by all means. We don't want to see a weak Palestinian Authority.
With your settlements policy, you're not going to have a strong Palestinian Authority. With the biggest expansion of settlements these years now, these last months.
Well, I don't
There's no way that there can be a two-state solution.
I don't see a connection between settlements and the strength of the Palestinian Authority. The strength of a Palestinian Authority is stopping incitement, is having effective control over its territories, it's fighting terrorism, it's continuing the security cooperation with Israel. And this is the things that the international community needs to put pressure on. If there are disagreements on policies, that's legitimate, and there can be disagreements on policies between Israel, the international community. But when it comes to fighting terrorism, and what we saw, more than 50 terrorist attacks just originated from Jenin in the past year, more than 20 Israelis were killed in these terrorist attacks. That should not be politicized by anyone, and we should all fight terrorism and then have the disagreements about policy, which we're willing willing to have a conversation on a separate time.
Elad Stromer, thank you very much.